Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball from Tampa, Florida. And tonight it's a two-game series beginning with the Tampa Bay Rays and the St. Louis Cardinals. Over the weekend, north of the border in Canada. Toronto, to be precise. Starting pitching, the story for St. Louis, Friday night, Lance Lynn. Then on Saturday, part of a 5-0 shutout, Shelby Miller. Capped off by another 5-0 shutout, the starting pitching of Jaime Garcia. And welcome to Cardinals baseball. That's Tim McCarver. My name is Dan McLaughlin. You look at a situation like this, Tampa Bay has dropped 13 of 14. They're facing two of the top starters in the league. You're thinking this could be dangerous. One of those weird situations in baseball.
Yeah, it is, because Tampa Bay hasn't scored in 19 innings. The Cardinals haven't allowed a run in 18 innings. But situations like this can be very, very dangerous, and the Cardinals are aware of that.
All right, we're going to take a look at the home run challenge when we come back. And a part of that, Matt Holliday. He'll serve as the DH tonight, and we've got baseball coming up. Home run challenge. Every home run hit in this game raises $602 for prostate cancer research. So far this season, over $15,000 has been raised. You can make a pledge by going online to homerunchallenge.org. The home run challenge leader all time for the Redbirds, that would be Matt Holliday. Serving as the DH tonight, he has 6. He'll try to go yard this evening. It's the Cards and Rays next on Fox Sports Midwest. In Tampa, Florida, interleague play continues, and the Cardinals will face Jose Molina. He's in the lineup tonight, and so is his brother, Yadier. Yadi catches Adam Wainwright, looking to become a 9-game winner. Baseball next. By Budweiser. Designated driver and enjoy the great times. It's Chevy Truck Month. Visit your Mid-America Chevy dealers to take advantage of Truck Month offers on the all-new Chevy Silverado. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Temperatures around 90 degrees today here in Tampa, Florida, along with Tim McCarver. Dan McLaughlin with you. The first of two here in Tampa between the Rays and the Cardinals. These two teams will hook up later this season at Busch Stadium. And right now for Tampa, this is a team that, without question, is not performed to expectations. They have dropped 13 of 14, and 16 times they've come to the plate and said, hey, can we get a base runner? Can we get a hit? Can we get something going? And Joe Maddon say out of those 16 times the last two games when they've had opportunities, they just have not been able to cash in.
Well, Dan, Joe Maddon took over in 2006, and through these 65 games, this is the worst that Tampa Bay has ever played. And that is saying something, because those first couple of years were bad. But since 2008, only the New York Yankees have won more games than the Tampa Bay Rays. So it's very, very unusual for them to be going as badly as they have been.
Take a look at Mike Matheny's lineup with Matt Carpenter swinging a hot bat at .299. He'll lead it off. Then Colton Wong, he says his shoulder is fine. He's back in there tonight. Matt Holliday serving as the designated hitter. Then Alan Craig leads the club in RBIs. Yadier Molina, Oscar Taveras, Johnny Peralta, last three games, a home run, a double mixed in there. John Jay, and then the center fielder batting ninth, and that is Peter Borges, and a hometown kid making the start for the Tampa Bay Rays.
From Highland, Illinois, which is about 30 miles east of St. Louis. As a matter of fact, he saw Adam Wainwright pitch many, many games at Busch Stadium. Not only the one presently occupied by the Cardinals, but the one previously occupied by St. Louis.
Well, two teams going in opposite directions. 18 consecutive innings, as you mentioned in the open, without allowing a run. That's the Cardinals 19 consecutive innings without scoring a run. And I said 16 because Joe Maddon said before the game, he said, yeah, we've had 19 consecutive innings, but I look at it as 16 different times we've had a chance to do some damage, and we have not been able to do it. Joe Maddon grew up in Pennsylvania, and he used to listen to a station. It's fairly big. I think it's called KMOX. And he said he used to listen to the Cardinals games growing up in Hazleton, Pennsylvania.
Too.
Yeah. The blowtorch. Grew up a fan of Stan the Man and the St. Louis Cardinals. A look at the Tampa Bay defense with Joyce, Jennings, and Kiermaier in the outfield. Longoria, the all-star at third. Ben Zobrist, Forsythe, and Loney along the infield. Jose Molina, Yadi's brother, is behind the plate for Tampa Bay. And Jake Odorizzi, the 24-year-old right-hander, came over in a deal with Will Myers and Mike Montgomery, a left-handed pitcher from Kansas City. That was the James Shields, Wade Davis deal.
Matter of fact, Odorizzi has been involved in 2 deals where 2 very good pitchers have gone the other way. Zach Greinke was another one, going from Kansas City to Milwaukee. Of course, he is now the pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers and one of the top right-handers in the major leagues.
And Tim, they have stressed to him throw strikes because the deepest he has gone in a game is 6 innings this year. He's done that twice, and on 3 pitches he strikes out Matt Carpenter.
I think St. Louis fans are familiar with Matt Carpenter taking the first pitch, but rarely does he go up there and look at 3 in a row. That pitch on the outside corner above the knees, good pitch by Odorizzi.
Here's Colton Wong, only 4 at-bats on this road trip, dealing with the sore shoulder. And on the season, hitting .258. It was just a week ago tonight that he hit his first career home run, the grand slam against Kansas City.
That's one of the few ballparks in the major leagues where you can get that shot from the roof.
Yeah, above home plate.
Yeah.
And this is a ballpark that was built in the early 90s, and the Rays did not expect to still be playing in this park, but yet it does give you that unique view. The catwalk, it's in play if you're wondering. Popped up, the 2-0 pitch. Longoria is over and makes the catch. 2 down. Here's Holiday, late scratch, as Jim told you, the pregame show, dealing with a lower back issue on Sunday. So couple that with the off day yesterday. He says he's good to go here for game number 1. Just 2 for 14 on the trip. The first pitch is taken for a ball outside.
First breaking ball from Odorizzi this evening.
His fastball is 89 to 94. It's a slow curve, mixes in a slider only to righties. And then he also has what he calls a split changeup that he learned from Alex Cobb.
Worked on it in spring training, but it's very difficult for a young man to work on a pitch when he's trying to make the team. You can do one or the other, but not both.
And not against major league hitters.
No.
Live action. You see the Zim patch worn now by the players, the right sleeve, as they honor Don Zimmer, who passed away at the age of 83. We'll talk more about that throughout the series as Holiday hits it into foul territory. The catch is made by Kiermaier. 1-2-3 for the youngster, Odorizzi. St. Louis. A look at Joe Madden, his lineup tonight, featuring Desmond Jennings leading it off. Then Kevin Kiermaier swinging a hot bat. Evan Longoria, James Loney, good numbers against Wainwright. Ben Zobrist, David DeJesus, also very good numbers against the Cardinals starter. Matt Joyce, Logan Forsythe, and Jose Molina against Wainwright. Another crack at trying to pick up win number 9, Tim, for Adam Wainwright.
1,216 strikeouts.
And a base hit allowed to Desmond Jennings here in the first inning.
That's the one thing the Rays have been trying to impress with Jennings. Don't take the first pitch as often as you have been. Go up there hacking, and against a guy like Wainwright, a good idea. But my point was, Dan, 1,216 strikeouts. He'll be 32 years old August 30th. And that gives you an idea of how difficult it is to get 3,000 strikeouts. I know Adam has had, out for a year and a half with surgery on his arm. He was a short reliever for a while. But he's been a starter and an established starter for a long time.
It's showing bunt. It's Kiermaier.
3,000 strikeouts.
Man.
I
just started thinking of the numbers in my head. And
yeah.
It's astounding how long it would take to get to that point if you're Adam Wainwright.
Right.
And the point to that is just how hard it is to get to there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as you mentioned, we're talking about an elite pitcher in today's baseball who's 4th in strikeouts this year with 89 in the National League. Could be a double play. Craig to second, back to first. Wainwright is there and out. It's a double play.
Oh, good play by Adam Wainwright and Johnny Peralta. They may. Here comes Joe Madden walking leisurely, and he'll look back to the dugout to see if this should be reviewed, and they may review it. But it was a great play by Peralta because he threw to an empty bag. Craig gets out of the way. Peralta throws on the come, and Wainwright made the play, his right foot on the bag, and he looked out. It was very close. I don't think overturnable. No, he looked safe from that. So he was either out or safe.
50-50, right? One way or another.
No, he looked safe from that second shot. From behind Wainwright, he looked safe.
Tim, they have had now coming into play tonight 468 reviews in Major League Baseball. 46% of those have been overturned, and the average time has significantly dropped from when this first started. 1 minute and 51 seconds is the average time of review.
They're better, but it still needs to be, if not perfected, bettered.
But I'm with you. I think you just made a point that a lot of fans talk about, and I'm with you. The initial replay, out. Second one, I say safe.
Yeah.
And it's got to be something that is very clear to overturn the call on the field.
If they look at it from that high right field line of sight, then they would say he was safe. But if you look at it from the center field shot, which is the shot the umpire had,
out.
First base umpire Hunter Wentelstedt.
By the way, that was George Hendrick for our St. Louis fans. If you're curious about the first base coach, well, he wasn't silent George there. He made sure to let everybody know he thought the call was wrong, as George Hendrick played a number of seasons in the big leagues, and with St. Louis he was in the Gateway City for 7 years, part of the '82 championship team.
You know where George is happiest? Driving sports cars around the Bonneville Salt Flats.
Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, he loves to race cars. It's one of his hobbies. But he is one of the great guys, and could he ever play? You talk about a right-handed hitter that you could not throw a low fastball, too. He could rake that low fastball.
Low and away, take it to right as well.
Tracers. He was out.
How about that? The call stands, and Joe Madden is now done with his challenges. What a terrific double play.
I didn't think the Cardinals would get that play, but talk about guys, everybody doing something right. Craig releasing the ball quickly. Peralta throwing to the vacated bag. That was to be covered by Wainwright, and the Cardinals get the call even after the review.
3-6-1 on the double play.
One of the reasons Adam Wainwright won a Gold Glove last year.
Absolutely. Here's Longoria, really the face of their franchise. He is signed through 2022. Leads their club in home runs with 7. He has driven in 26. Joe Madden is dealing with injuries not only to his rotation but also his lineup. Will Meyer, the Rookie of the Year in the American League, he is out. Could be for the year. They're hoping to get him back in early August with a wrist injury. Ryan Hannigan is their everyday catcher, the former Cincinnati Red, and he's dealing with a hamstring issue.
He could be ready by tomorrow.
And then you've got Jeremy Hellickson and Matt Moore, an all-star. Moore out for the year. Hellickson, elbow surgery, could return later this month. It's pretty big names. Two and two the count on Evan Longoria.
Don't throw him tight. Cardinals will keep everything away from Longoria. There may be 1 or 2 guys who have quicker bats on fastballs up and in the big leagues, but not many.
Hits with an open stance, and here's a 3-2. He walked him. A 2-out walk, and we turn to tonight's Toyota keys to the game.
Well, it's pretty simple for 2 teams going in opposite directions. That's an interesting word, Schneid. We didn't know how to spell it, to tell you the truth. We didn't know whether it was Schneid. Schneid, how do you spell that?
Is that right?
We went to, that's right, S-C-H-N-E-I-D. And for the Cardinals, keep throwing up zeros.
Schneid.
Schneid.
You know, the spelling bee, the national spelling bee, just took place last week.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, you'd be right in there. Mix in with those 3rd and 4th graders.
Showing me up.
Tim,
I'm sure.
Your word is Schneid. Definition, please. Here's James Loney, who's 10 for 23 against Adam Wainwright with 3 doubles and a home run. James Loney, 7 years with Los Angeles, brief stop in Boston, and had a very good season last year with Tampa Bay, hit .299. And they kept him here with a 3-year contract.
James formerly with the Dodgers, then went to the Red Sox. He's done a good job with the Rays. Not a power hitter, but a gap hitter. A lot of guys are as strong who are gap hitters, as strong as guys who hit home runs. They don't have lift in their swing, however.
And that's hit out of play. Tampa Bay last year, 92 wins, another playoff berth. They beat Cleveland in the wild card game and then lost to Boston in the division series. 92 wins. And they've had 90 or more wins the past 4 years, along with Texas. Those are the only 2 teams that have done that. And a ground ball slowly hit up the middle and past Colton Wong, who's playing Loney to pull, so it's a base hit.
That was a modified shift. Colton Wong was, you could see where Wong is. He's playing in shallow right. Peralta is playing shortstop, so there's a big hole there. James Loney taking advantage of it, not intentionally. Hitters don't say, well, there's a bigger hole up the middle. I think I'll try to hit it up there. It's not that easy.
Well, for the Rays, it's been runners in scoring position, and they cannot bring them in. And during this stretch, they've averaged just over 2 runs. They are 10 for 95 with runners in scoring position the past 14 games. 10 for 95.
My gosh.
And overall, as a team, hitting .230. Ben Zobrist, the switch hitter, runners at first and second. We've seen it before. Yadier Molina at times, even with first and second, will still throw down to first. Occasionally, if he feels he can catch a runner, he just motioned towards Alan Craig after big lead, secondary lead by Loney.
It's always a good idea. Catcher with a good arm behind the left-handed batter because he shields you. The runner at first base. Number one, he's got to be a guy who's a good base runner. Bad base runners are never picked off base because they don't take a big enough lead. The good base runners, and Loney is one, are the guys. But with the left-handed hitter up there and Craig playing back, I don't think so.
3 balls, no strikes on Ben Zobrist, the former Astro. And he takes a strike. Last time out for Adam Wainwright, it was against Kansas City. Carried a no-hitter into the 6th and eventually took a no decision. 4 hits, a couple of earned, 2 walks, and he struck out 8. Pitched into the 9th, did not record an out. And the Cardinals eventually won that game in extra innings. There's a high fly ball lifted out to left field. John Jay backs up a step or two, puts it away. The Rays strand 2. After an inning of play, there's no score. First, we move to the top of the second along with Tim McCarver, Dan McLaughlin. Third member of our crew, Jim Hayes. And Jim, we were talking about the injuries with Tampa Bay. What about St. Louis? Where do the Cardinals stand with those?
Well, we'll talk about Matt Holliday, who was a late scratch, and I mean late scratch in Toronto. Told me that the back tightened up just after batting practice. He told me the back felt better today. Mike Matheny suspects that the turf might have had something to do with it. Mike said he wanted to watch Matt during batting practice to see if the issue cropped up again. Guys, apparently it didn't. Also, Colton Wong has been dealing with that tender left shoulder. Didn't play at all in Toronto. Told me the rest and the time off yesterday helped him, and he felt like it's not an issue. Colton says he can feel something in that left shoulder. It's not pain, and it's not enough to keep him out of the lineup.
Here is Alan Craig. And Jim, before we let you go, as far as Matt Adams, any indication from Mike Matheny when he might be activated? I know he's begun his rehab assignment at AAA Memphis, but he could be activated by Friday, correct?
Yeah, if all goes well. He's dealing with a sore left calf as we see the lineup. I'm told that the calf responded very well. He made his first rehab appearance for Memphis last night, and right now the calf isn't the issue, Dan. They just want to make sure his swing is okay, and if all goes well, they expect him to rejoin the Cardinals when the team returns home for its homestand.
All right, Jim, thank you. And a nice ovation here for Yadier Molina with his brother behind the plate.
Well, I think they were cheering both of them.
Yeah.
I think the crowd here appreciating the Molina family. And those two are not the only two. 6 World Series rings among the 3 of them.
Pop foul and out of play. Yadier, I think you could say, is the best of the 3.
Oh, no question.
What a player he is. Now that's Jose behind the plate. Remember, Benji, who's now with Texas, was with the Cardinals last year as the assistant hitting coach. But 6 world championships between the 3. Remarkable. This is the only brothers, the trio, that have caught in the major leagues. They've had 140 postseason games between the 3. Combined, they've made 16 trips to the playoffs. And you ask any of the brothers, and had a chance to visit extensively last year with Benji, and he says they all owe it to Benjamin Sr., their father. As Yadi puts it in play, he grounds out to James Loney. But he would come home from work every single day and work with the boys. And they weren't catchers at the time, as they eventually moved to behind the plate.
Well, it's carried over also because Yadi's 5-year-old son was at the ballpark today. They're both staying with Jose in the St. Petersburg area. And I asked Yadi if he was going to stay Thursday for the off day. And he said, nope, got to get back for a T-ball game. So Uniel, who is Yadi's son, will be playing T-ball on Thursday.
Oscar Taveras lines out to right. Odorizzi seems to be locked in early on against his favorite team growing up. Look at the Cardinals defense with Jay, Borges, and Taveras in the outfield. Carpenter, Peralta, Wong, and Craig along the infield. Yadier Molina is behind the plate. See the 3 errors in the last 3 games at Toronto on their turf. And there's turf at this ballpark as De Jesus, serving as the DH, looks at a strike. Now this is the only turf field, though, that has base paths that have actual dirt. The sliding pits at the other ballparks that are artificially enhanced with the turf do not feature that. And I was talking with some of the players. They said that this is a fast infield, but yet not as bouncy as what they experienced in Toronto. They said that was extremely surprising how bouncy that surface was in Toronto.
With the seams also in Toronto that you really don't have here. You used to, but not anymore.
David De Jesus from Brooklyn, New York. Great numbers against Adam Wainwright. 3 doubles, a triple, a home run. 9 for 25. Liner hit out to center. Peter Borges. Well, Tim, you were talking about it. The Molina brothers trying to pass on what they know to another generation. Isn't that great?
He is a cutie, too, with a T-ball game on Thursday. So Yachty will be off, kind of, on Thursday. It's an off day. The Cardinals, of course, leave after tomorrow night's game to go back to St. Louis. And Dad will be getting up early on Thursday to see his son's T-ball game. It's great.
Matt Joyce at the plate with Logan Forsythe on deck. Things got so bad for the Rays, they brought in a Seminole medicine man. Now, you know Joe Madden will try anything.
Bobby Henry was his name. 77-year-old Bobby Henry. We didn't talk about this before the game either.
Well, he says he's got supernatural powers, according to Joe Madden.
Guess what? He's coming back next Sunday, and the Rays aren't here. How about that?
The 2-1 is hit out of play.
And Joe asked him why he was coming back, and Bobby Henry, the Seminole medicine man, said, "I still have work to do." So who knows?
Apparently his expertise is in rain. He can make it rain.
Right.
The problem is we have a roof over our heads.
So what difference? so why is Bobby asked to be here to begin with?
A strikeout for Adam Wainwright. Goodness. Time now for you to tweet your photo using the hashtag STLFanPhoto, and we'll show one of those later in our telecast. I like how Joe, though, keeps things so loose.
Absolutely.
It's such a long season, and right now they're in a grind. Obviously, not winning games, not hitting, dropping 13 to 14, worst record right now in baseball.
Yeah, nothing is working for Joe Madden and the Rays thus far this season.
Logan Forsythe is hitting 189, and he is from Memphis, Tennessee. Played college baseball at Arkansas, and he chops that one foul, and he went to CBC High School in Memphis, Tennessee. You know a thing or two about that.
I certainly do. I graduated, I think, in 4 years. Back in 1959, a year after Mike Shannon graduated from CBC in St. Louis and signed a scholarship to play with the University of Missouri and Dan Devine.
That's right.
In 58.
And from your CBC, they say he is the 10th player from that high school to make it to the big leagues.
One of whom was just honored along with the 64 Cardinals, Phil Gagliano, from that 64 team.
Ooh, just missed. Outside corner.
If you miss, you want to miss away on that cutter with 2 strikes. Make it a reach for the ball, but close pitch and a good take by Forsythe.
2-2 the count. Outfield is straight away. And a breaking ball is lifted in the air out to right center. Borges going back in front of the track and makes the catch. So a 1-2-3 inning for Wainwright. It'll be Peralta, Jay, and Borges due up for St. Louis. And at Tropicana, and a look at the National League All-Star balloting. Gomez, Puig, and Stanton in the outfield. The David Wright, Tulowitzki, Utley, and Gonzalez. Yadier Molina, 1.6+ million votes. Tulowitzki is over 2 million. There's some names out there, though, that may surprise some fans that could make this team. Those are many of the usual suspects. I think of a guy like a Michael Morse. San Francisco off to a terrific start, and San Francisco leads their division by 8.5 games.
Well, Michael Morse, the left fielder for the Giants, has really rejuvenated his career. 13 home runs on the year.
And Peralta pulls it foul. Remember, the All-Star game will air exclusively on Fox, and that's July 15th.
Target Field in Minneapolis.
Cardinals actually opened up that ballpark in an exhibition. It rained. It was cold. It was everything you might expect when you're going to Minnesota at that time of year.
Gosh, I remember when the Philadelphia Phillies back in 1980 opened up the Homer Dome. Call it the 4-H Club.
Yeah.
You know, Hubert H. Humphrey Homer Dome.
And this place, when you think about the roof, very similar. I was talking with some of the coaches. I said, is there a roof that's like this? You guys played any of these ballparks, these dome stadiums? And they said, well, when the Astrodome was first built, impossible to see a fly ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then they
back
said,
in '65.
Correct. And then they said with the Metrodome, this is the type of ceiling, if you will, or roof that it's colored, very similar colors. And they said it does take a little getting used to. It's a dim ballpark, plus the white of the roof trying to find the baseball.
I think the Metrodome in Minneapolis was tougher than this ballpark or the Astrodome. Cardinals, of course, had their taste there in 1985 or in 1987. I beg your pardon. Losing in 7 games.
A strikeout of Peralta. So Target Field and Minneapolis, the host city, and Michael Morse just may be there. And he's doing this in a very spacious ballpark when you think of the power numbers.
He's out of his 13 home runs, he only has 4 at AT&T Park. That is a tough ballpark. There's a key hit when the Giants played in St. Louis. Flopped in front of Borges, but he is a good player having a very good year.
Breaking ball drops in for a strike to John Jay. Odorizzi is, as we mentioned earlier, from Highland, Illinois, as Jay slaps that the other way. And he said his dad Mike would be watching tonight on Fox Sports Midwest. His mom Julie, and also one of his biggest fans, his high school coach Joel Hawkins.
Oh, that's great.
And Joel saw Jake go 14-0 with a .08 ERA for the Bulldogs championship season when they were the Class 3 champions, the state of Illinois. He was also the 2008 National Player of the Year in high school. Molina sets up outside and he misses his spot.
Well, Joel and Julie will have a chance perhaps to see their son Jake perform with Tampa Bay when the Rays come to St. Louis on the 22nd and 23rd of July.
The 2-2. A punch out of Jay. Back-to-back Ks and 3 tonight for Jake.
You know, there's a lot to be said about framing a pitch. Watch how Molina lifts this ball into the strike zone. The ball was actually, when it went over the plate, it was a ball. And I think Molina, as his brother does occasionally, it's legal theft in baseball, but I think he stole a strike for Odorizzi.
That's Peter Borges. And that pitch taken for a ball. It's really an art form, isn't it? A catcher behind the plate being able to frame.
It is. I think the whole thing is to be
popped in the air and caught.
That's an art form too.
Well, Borges trying to bunt his way on. Molina hopping back from behind the plate to make the play. Makes the catch. No score. St. Pete.
Bobby Henry work right there.
Absolutely. Cardinals score 6. Get any size coffee found or frozen drink just 50 cents the next day. That's all season long at On the Run. 38-year-old Jose Molina in his 15th major league season with younger brother Yadi behind him. And that's driven out to left for the out. Catch made by John Jay.
Stay ahead of the hitters with a fastball down the middle of the plate, then expand the strike zone. Jim Palmer was the first pitcher that I heard to explain pitching like that. use the middle of the plate to get ahead and get them out on balls off the plate away. Expand the strike zone. The plate's 17 inches wide. Go off the plate with 1 strike, 2 strikes when you're ahead. It's pretty sound philosophy, and Adam Wainwright pretty good at it.
Desmond Jennings single to center, then left stranded. The year hitting .239. There's 29 walks this season, most on their club. Showing bunt, pushes it foul. We went to break looking at the play by Jose Molina, and you talked about while may look at home as an easy play, little pop-up, catcher pops out, makes the catch. It's not an easy play, is it?
It's not, because catchers really, their first responsibility are on pop-ups in foul territory.
And there's a pop-up into shallow right center. And Borges makes the catch, calling off Taveras.
So you're almost back on your heels when the hitter makes contact with the ball. Borges trying to bunt, popped it up, and Jose was able to make the play rather easily. But as you said, there's nothing routine about a play like that. You're used to seeing a first baseman or a third baseman coming in.
Sure.
And occasionally a pitcher, but not a catcher.
Kevin Kiermaier, since May 18th, leading the Rays with 8 extra base hits. That also included 6 days down in the minor leagues. So that gives you a little idea of just how much this Rays offense has been struggling. And he pulls that foul.
Yeah, what's good for Kiermaier is not good for the Rays.
Sure. He can't cure it. The lack of offense.
Right.
Now at 21 consecutive innings without scoring. And Kiermaier from our viewing area, Fort Wayne, Indiana, 23-year-old. He was the 941st player picked in 2010. This is the 4th lowest pick by the Rays to make it to the major leagues. Cardinals' Kevin Segrist, 41st round pick when he was drafted. That round does not even exist anymore.
Wow.
Think about that.
That's good.
The 3-1 pitch and a strike. Full count with 2 outs and nobody on.
That was close.
Ground ball to the right side. Colton Wong sliding and making the play. Nicely done by Colton Wong as he takes a hit away from Kevin Kiermaier.
I'll tell you, that's a big league play right there. Nicely done.
Sliding to his left, makes the play. We head to the 4th. AT&T, mobilizing your world. By Schnucks, your neighborhood hometown grocer for 75 years. And by Fridays. In here, it's always Friday. Formerly known as the Florida Suncoast Dome, Tropicana has stepped in to write a nice check so that we say, welcome back to Tropicana Field.
The Trop.
The Trop. This was built in 1990 as Matt Carpenter looks at a strike. And the idea was that they would bring a franchise to this area, not just have spring training baseball. And that's a fair ball. Nice play, James Loney.
Well, we have had back-to-back good plays. One to end an inning by Colton Wong, and one to begin an inning by James Loney here in the fourth. Particularly tough for a left-handed throwing first baseman because he had to go across his body. The ball stayed on the ground, didn't come up for him. That's a good play by Loney.
You know, Tim, you look back at their team last year when healthy. They had 3 finalists for Gold Gloves on the infield.
Yeah, exactly. Zobrist at second, Longoria at third, and Loney at first. And an improved Escobar at short.
Here's Colton Wong. The 2-0 pitch fouled out to Longoria. And he chops this one to the right side. Logan Forsythe. You always wonder about a young pitcher. Major league debuts, maybe pitching in front of family and friends. And in this case, his hometown team. He was actually at Game 7 of the 2011 World Series. And he said his favorite moment growing up was the breaking ball from Adam Wainwright, who then was a closer in 2006, freezing Carlos Beltran with the pennant on the line.
At Shea Stadium in New York.
You got it. Up and in to Matt Holliday.
You think of where those organizations have gone since then. The Cardinals have gone straight up. The Mets have gone straight down.
You think about the 2 years after 06 for the Mets. Final weekend of both those seasons, they're alive, and one was an epic collapse. Some thunder outside as Holliday steps out of the box as the fans react to that. It's a live look outside the stadium.
You mentioned the Mets. The Cardinals return home off day on Thursday. Then Washington comes in for 3 games, 2 night games and a 1:15 Sunday game. And then the Mets come in for a couple of night games and a 12:45 game next Wednesday. Then the Phillies in town. But the New York Mets, since that pitch, I mean, that was an epic pitch in both organizations' history.
No question. 3-2 the count on Holliday. Fly to right, first time up. Odorizzi trying to make it 12 straight. And a walk. Krispy Kreme doesn't deal. If your Cardinals get 9 hits tonight, you're invited into Krispy Kreme tomorrow to receive a dozen of their original glazed donuts for only $3.99. So stop by one of the 4 St. Louis area Krispy Kremes for this sensational deal. 2-out walk to Holliday brings in Alan Craig, who lined out to right field, and he has a 6-game hitting streak on the line tonight.
Dan, that's a real invitation, that right side of the infield, for a guy like Alan Craig. When you look at the Cardinals on a day-to-day basis, he can pepper that hole with the best of any right-handed hitter in the game.
Also hits for power to the opposite field.
Line one to right fielder Kevin Kiermaier, his first time up.
And he hits this one out to left. But Joyce is there and makes the play. Cardinals strand their first runner tonight, and there's no score.
We know when somebody's doing something wrong, and somebody tipping, whatever it is that we're doing on the mound, we always try to help each other. He came in and said some things to me and Shelby, but I feel we always do that. Probably because we beat the Toronto Blue Jays when they're hot, it's standing up a little more, but we always do that. We're always trying to help each other, trying to give a little word of advice that can help the next guy that's pitching the following game against the same team.
Jaime Garcia, part of the pregame show with Jim Hayes. Garcia and Shelby Miller as Longoria takes a strike. Part of back-to-back shutouts. Last time on the road that happened for the Cardinals was 2005. If they could make it 3 in a row, that would be the first time since 1963. As Longoria hits it down the right field line, it's slicing and foul out of play. I'm curious, Tim, with all your years in baseball as a player, broadcasting, when guys are throwing bullpen sessions, have you ever seen where the other 4 starters go out to watch?
No. I think it's novel with the Cardinals. Even in spring training, when they throw bullpen sessions, the other guys watch. I think Chris Carpenter may have started that, and it was his leadership that encouraged that. And he may have gotten a little bit of that from Doc Holliday.
That's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
He said David Wells also was part of that. Pat Henkin, when he won the Cy Young in Toronto, he said those 3 would get together all the time. Roger Clemens at one point, and that's where it started. And he said the idea initially was more about team unity with the 5 guys that are going out there every 5th day with your starting rotation, and then it became, well, I see something with player X, or I think that this could happen. You're tipping pitches. Maybe try this with a cutter, whatever the case may be. Longoria goes down to get it. Jay is over and makes the play on the run. Got a good jump on that baseball, and a nice play by John Jay in left field. That's 8 in a row set down by Adam Wainwright.
You remember we talked about earlier that if you pitch a guy like Evan Longoria inside, he's already opened up for the inside pitch. From a catcher's standpoint, you're trained never jam a guy with an open stance. You jam guys with closed stances because you can get inside. You can jam anybody, but a guy with an open stance is dangerous to jam because he's already prepared for the ball inside. That pitch inside, he hit it hard, but the Cards got an out.
There's James Loney. And Loney's connection to the Cardinals is Matt Carpenter. Those two were teammates in high school and played on a national championship winning club for Rick Carpenter, Matt's dad.
Down in Texas.
You got it. Rick also coached Kip Wells who was a former Major League pitcher that pitched in St. Louis but had his issues while in the Gateway City.
Pitched in Chicago for the White Sox also.
Chad Huffman. And that's a base hit past Wong, who was on the outfield. Second time that Loney has beaten the shift of the Cardinals. So he's 2 for 2, and it brings in Ben Zobrist, the switch hitter, all-star balloting for the American League. And the leading vote getter, Jose Bautista, over 2.1 million votes, and Mike Trout nearing 2 million, center fielder for the Angels.
One of those votes for Josh Donaldson at third base did not come from the third baseman of the Baltimore Orioles, Manny Machado.
And he has been suspended, by the way.
I saw that. Yeah.
5 games, and there's a base hit into right center field. Loney makes the turn on his way to third, and they'll hold him up. The third base coach is Tom Foley. It's in his 19th year in the Rays organization. And Zobrist the double, and a chance for David DeJesus.
That's a terrific play by Oscar Taveras. Watch how he gets to the ball and pivots and makes a strong throw to Wong. Very nice. That holds Loney at third base. If you're a third base coach, sometimes you have to wait and see how the transfer is going to be from the outfielder to the infielder, and then you hold the runner up. You might say, well, what if the runner rounds the bag too much? Well, how many times have you ever seen a throw from the right side outfield behind the runner at third base? Try almost never.
Right.
And that's why a third base coach can bring a runner around in a situation like that and hold him late.
Now DeJesus, who flied to center, runners at second and third, and the pitch is swung on and missed. This is where Adam Wainwright can be awfully tough with runners in scoring position. Opponents hitting just 152 against him.
Yeah, if you're a hitter, you've got to be awfully selective, because Wainwright, a master at throwing those strikes just on the corner or just off the plate, make you try to make you hit a ball and not a strike.
In the air, foul territory. Carpenter can't make the play. Well, you think about that, Tim. You've got Carpenter with his back to the infield.
Easier play for Peralta.
Yeah.
But Peralta's not as fast as Carpenter, so therefore neither could get to it.
You'd have to think that Loney would be able to score if he makes this catch. And you know what? Adam Wainwright is 4th in the league in strikeouts. Get a strikeout here, all of a sudden 2 outs changes the complexion of the end.
That's a valid point.
.22 1/3 innings since they last scored. Speaking of Tampa Bay. The 0-2. Liner, that's caught. And that's out number 2. And Joe Madden and his staff are thinking, what can we do to bring a runner home?
Well, sometimes you get away with a bad pitch, and Wainwright will tell you that he got away with a bad pitch. Lazy curveball in the strike zone. He wanted that pitch out of the strike zone. DeJesus hit it hard, but Wong was there, and the Cardinals got a break.
Now Matt Joyce, who struck out on a check swing. Wainwright has struck out 1, walked 1. And they'll intentionally walk him to get to Logan Forsythe. This will be the second walk issued by Adam Wainwright.
Doesn't matter what happens here. This is absolutely the right thing to do. And a more experienced, good hitter like Matt Joyce, you're going to pitch to the inexperienced young hitter in Forsythe.
Adam Wainwright has seen the bases loaded against him twice this year. Twice. That's it.
what I've been doing.
I mean,
I didn't know that.
hard to fathom.
That's great.
So for the third time this year, dealing with the bases loaded in 2 outs. And it's a liner that's caught by Colton Wong. And the Cardinals and Adam Wainwright are out of the jam here in the bottom of the 4th. A lot of red in the seats here at Tropicana. Carpenter doesn't come up with that play. The Cardinals are thankful. A pair of lineouts to Colton Wong. They're out of the jam. Scoreless is this game. Tavares and Peralta due up as we move to the top of the 5th from Tropicana Field. Molina grounded out first time up. And he and his brother Jose Molina playing for just the 3rd time in the same game.
Same family, different leagues. Matter of fact, this is the first time that Yachty has been behind the plate since Thursday night in Kansas City, right?
Right.
2 DH assignments over the weekend in Toronto and an off day.
Here's a 1-1. Tony Cruz has filled in and done a very nice job.
Tony, I'll tell you, has done a great job all year, I think.
The Cardinals always want to protect themselves in the fact that they want a backup catcher always live and available. But Tony Cruz has got versatility. He can play either corner infield position or corner outfield position. So in situations when you think he might be the choice to pinch hit, Mike Matheny reluctant to do that because they want to make sure they're covered behind the plate. As Molina spoils the pitch.
It's tough to carry just 2 catchers when your main catcher is your most valuable player.
Right.
Tough.
The 2-2.
You know, you're always cringing on foul tips. You're cringing on base runners coming into him. You're cringing on balls that are inside. Mike Matheny, a catcher himself, had to quit because of concussions. Certainly understands that as well as anyone.
The pitch was up and in, and a strikeout of Yadier Molina. Well, this weekend it's the Cardinals blanket giveaway. Compliments of Nestle Purina. Available to 25,000 pet lovers ages 16 and older. And you can get yours by purchasing tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. As Tim mentioned, the off day Thursday, then Washington, the first of 3. Matt Williams' club will be in town on Friday night. Nationals are tied with Atlanta atop the National League East, and that drops in for a strike to Oscar Taveras, who is lined out to right, 0 for 1.
Our producer, Mike Helling, just whispered in our ear that sounds weird, saying that Matt Williams is the manager of the Nationals, and he's doing a very good job this year also. Losing Ryan Zimmerman, Bryce Harper's been out for about a month and a half. And here they are tied with Atlanta, only 4 games over. It's a weak National League East.
Yes. Here's the 0-2, and it's popped up left side. Longoria gives it a look, and it's out of play. I keep saying I expect Washington to take off, just like last year. Waiting for them to come together, and it did come together, but it was too late. A lot of talent on that club for them, I would think, not to at least be a wild card.
Now, they need a guy like Harper. They need Zimmerman on an everyday basis. They need to quit sliding hands first into bases. And so does Colton Wong, for that matter. And so does Ben Zobrist. And so does all the other players in the major leagues who have done that and gotten injured this year.
The fly ball lifted out to left field, and the catch made by Matt Joyce.
I think that is such an important thing that I think I talked to Bob Gibson about this about a month ago when I think the Players Association, who one of their duties is to protect their players. And I think Tony Clark, who's the head of the Players Association right now, should hold meetings in spring training and tell these guys how important it is for them not to do that, and how they are costing themselves and their owners plenty of money. I mean, plenty of money. Ben Zobrist did it. Colton Wong still slides hands first, and any number of base runners thinking they get to the base quicker than they would had they gone in feet first. And it's just simply not true. They've proven it.
Remember Skip Schumacher with the Cardinals now at Cincinnati?
Absolutely.
He used to do that time and again. And I would say to him, why do you do it? And he says, I don't mean to. He said, it's just reactionary. He said, it's just a really bad habit that I can't get out of. And I wonder, and there's the first base hit for the Cardinals off the bat of Peralta. If that's just the case with some of these guys, Tim, that they know in the back of their minds, I shouldn't be doing this, but it's a reactionary type of play.
And it's also do what the other guy does. If this guy does it, he looks like he's hustling, so maybe that's the right thing to do. It's the wrong thing to do. And somebody in the Players Association and the owners, they've got to get together to try to prevent stuff like that. You can't prevent a Tommy John surgery in the elbow. You can't prevent that. That's going to happen. But you can prevent these needless injuries. And in my view, running the bases and sliding in hands first is by far the wrong thing to do.
That drops foul near the Cardinal bullpen. This is John Jay, the 8th place hitter. Odorizzi has struck out 4 tonight. He set down 14 straight until that base hit by Johnny Peralta, which beat a little bit of a shift against Peralta. The Rays have used the 6th most shifts in baseball with 307 now. Oh, I got a few better than that, Tim. You'll love this.
Joe Madden, kind of the guru of that, right?
You got it. Off the glove of Longoria and no play. A base hit for John Jay.
That's a base hit, but Longoria, with his quickness to his right, may have prevented a run with 2 outs. Peralta, not a fast runner, but if this ball rattles around in that left field corner, I don't think Matt Joyce has a chance to get to it, and playing the carom, you don't know what might happen. So I think Longoria perhaps prevented a run.
The Astros, by the way, 746 shifts used this year already.
Over twice as many as the Rays, and that's saying something.
The Astros right now with a better record than the defending world champion Boston Red Sox. That's hard to believe, too. Chance now for Peter Borges. And a fly ball that's lifted into right center. Jennings makes the play. The Cardinals have stranded 3. We're midway through 5. And there's no score here in game 1. That have been diving in hands first, head first, and that's Josh Hamilton. Some big names. How about Bryce Harper?
Oh, man. You know, the reaction of these guys after they dive in there. Watch Arenado of the Colorado Rockies, a great third baseman. We'll try to get that back up for you. Here it is once again.
Oof.
He wanted to argue about the play, but his hand hurt him so bad. Those 3, Hamilton, Harper, and Arenado, all with operations on those hands. And that is an unnecessary injury. All you have to do is go feet first. But you can only talk about it.
Fought off, and this may drop, and it does. A base hit. Jose Molina is 1 for 2. Remember Ben Zobrist dealing with a similar type injury.
We've kiddingly talked about it in the past, saying that, you know, your fingers are your business partners in this game. You learn it's a game played primarily. It's not the World Cup where you need to take care of your feet. It's baseball where you need to take care of your hands.
Those are nasty looking injuries, aren't they?
I'm telling you.
Those reactions.
Yeah, hands are not designed to go in hands first.
Could be the second double play for the Cardinals tonight. 6-4-3, they turn it.
And if you didn't have good hands, you couldn't do this.
Turn 2.
That's right.
This is one of the things that makes Wainwright, Tim, and I know you've seen him on some of the biggest stages of baseball, but the ability to get key double plays and key outs and quicken up innings.
Al was talking about it, you know, when pitchers don't have their best stuff, they seem to somehow wriggle out of things, and that's Adam Wainwright.
The right fielder, Kiermaier, grounded into the first double play. And then it took a very good defensive play by Wong to his left to rob him of a base hit.
After that, more or less the essay on Fingers, Weirmeyer hammers one off his right foot. And I'm not laughing at that, but I mean, but it is interesting. I think that in America, we're trained to use our hands for all our sports. But the rest of the world, they train their feet. And that's why soccer will get about 2.5 billion watching the World Cup over the next month.
And by the way, you met a guy that uses both his feet, his arms, his thighs, his head, hands. Ben Bishop tonight.
I did.
Wong can't come up with it.
Boy, was that on cue, partner. I met the goalie for the Tampa Bay Lightning, Ben Bishop, tonight. He's from St. Louis. He was on the field as this breaking ball is hit hard, and Kiermaier with his first base hit. Wong couldn't come up with it. But Ben Bishop, I'm not as big a hockey fan as you are, but I know who Ben Bishop is. He was a goalie for the Blues and came down here with the Lightning. And what a nice young man. And I said, you're going to get a pop tonight, because we're going to see to it that you do. And he did, down here on rehab assignment.
Here's Longoria. Hits a fly ball out to center. And I know you were probably looking up to him. I'd be looking up to him. He's 6'7". He's a big man.
6'7" for a goalie.
Yeah. Oof. Big man.
Yeah.
Analysis from veteran baseball writer Stan McNeil. He's here in Tampa, and it's at foxsportsmidwest.com. There's a look at Stan getting after it tonight. Unique features here at this ballpark as Matt Carpenter leads it off. You have the Rays touch tank that's in right center, so Tim will be taking that in with all the it's a cow nose ray. The Rays are out there. Do you know that?
I did know that. I have not gotten close enough.
You haven't had the pleasure.
I have scuba dived with Rays.
I have too.
In presence down at the Cayman Islands, as a matter of fact. It's Stingray City, right? I think it's literally named Stingray City.
I did that on the Cardinals cruise a couple years ago. I didn't think I'd come back.
No, don't touch the tail, Dan.
No, that's I learned that very quickly.
Don't touch the tail.
1 ball, 1 strike here on Carpenter, who's hitless tonight. Odorizzi would love to get through at least 6. And why not? He's given up 2 base hits. He's walked 4, or rather struck out 4, pardon me, and walked 1. He has not pitched past the 6th inning of any of his starts this year. But you wouldn't know it watching him tonight.
No, you wouldn't.
The 2-2 pitch. Get the feeling that Matt Carpenter making a late push for the All-Star game, and Mike Matheny will have some selections as he'll be partaking in his first ever All-Star game. He'll be the manager of the National League. There's no doubt a chance to reward some of your players.
No question about it. And everybody is understanding if that happens. Most everybody, except the player not selected.
Right. The 3-2. I was talking with Matt the other day, and he said it was just remarkable, and you were there with the All-Star game, that the way that it finished up, even though the National League did lose, but seeing the outstanding closer of the Yankees in New York at Citi Field, Mariano Rivera, said that was his lasting memory.
Big time emotion.
As Carpenter skies one out to deep right field. Kiermaier is back near the wall and makes the catch on the track. And one of the events for the All-Star game, Home Run Derby on ESPN Monday, July 14th. All-Star game on Fox July 15th. You buy in that some guys mechanically get out of whack when they're part of the Home Run Derby when they come back?
Yes, I do.
I do too.
Yep.
As Colton Wong shows bunt, pulls it back, and takes a ball.
That's why the great Stan Musial eventually said, no, I'm not doing that anymore. It's messing up my swing. Stan with 475 home runs during his career, but was not a home run hitter. Now, he could he could hit anything. Probably the best low ball hitter in the history of the game. I'm not too sure many people knew that. But to see him approach a pitch that was right around the knees or even below 5 or 6 inches, I mean, he could rake. And that term wasn't even in vogue then. But he could rake that low pitch.
1-2 the count on Colton Wong. He's 0 for 2.
He could hit it out. He could make it look like it were higher. By digging it out.
Yeah.
How he did it, I'll never know.
You know, it was this day in history, 1921. Babe Ruth became the home run leader with 120. The all-time home run leader. And there's a famous picture. Stan was with the Rochester Red Wings. And Babe Ruth said, I want to meet this guy, Stan Musial. I've heard he's a pretty good hitter. And when they were going through all the personal effects of Stan after he passed, they found a ball and a picture. Babe Ruth and he pictured together, and Babe was doing an exhibition through the Rochester Red Wings, and there's he and Stan, and they found the ball that was signed to Stan.
What year was it?
I think 1941. Does that sound right?
Hey, babe, what do you say?
What do you say, kid? What do you say?
Kid, yeah, good, babe. Yeah, good. Oh, man. What memories.
Being from St. Louis, seeing Stan around town was amazing. Everywhere you went, always signing autographs, taking pictures.
Sweetheart.
And a fly ball lifted to center field. And 2 down, and it brings in the designated hitter, Matt Holliday, along with Tim McCarver. Dan McLaughlin, Jim Hayes with you from Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. We say Tampa Bay, but you have the cities of Tampa and St. Pete and Clearwater and Bradenton, the Tampa Bay, if you will. Representing a region.
It's a huge landmass, too.
Al Lang Stadium, about 5 minutes away from where we're at.
Yep.
Longtime spring training home to the Cardinals. Holiday is fly to right and walked. He was the Cardinals' first base runner back in the 4th. Cardinals' lease in Jupiter, by the way, is up in 2017. And let's face it, there needs to be more teams near Jupiter and Palm Beach, and they're hoping that Toronto would come that way. Houston as well.
Toronto and Dunedin, Florida, near Clearwater right now. Houston and Vieira, I believe, right?
I believe so. Oh, Kissimmee, that's it.
Pardon me. That's over on the East Coast. Mets are in Port St. Lucie, about an hour north of Jupiter.
Launched left center, and this ball is gone. Holiday takes one deep, and it's 1-0 St. Louis. His 4th home run, RBI number 30. He's been wondering about the power. He just showed us some power, launching that baby into left center, and a 1-run lead for the Cardinals.
Jim Hayes was talking earlier about the back injury of Matt Holliday. I know this sounds strange, but sometimes when you have a torso injury, you're thinking don't swing hard. And for a big guy like Matt Holliday to be thinking that and putting it into effect, the ball just jumps off his bat, and that's exactly what it did.
First home run since May 27th. That was against the Yankees. Home run numbers have been down. He's now 3 back for the team lead in RBIs. The Cardinals have 3 hits tonight. And now Holiday is just 4 RBIs shy of 1,000 for his career. Here's Craig 0 for 2.
Fastball, middle of the plate, jumps off the bat to give the Cardinals the lead.
Feels a little bit like a home crowd for the Cardinals with the red in the seats. Traveling from St. Louis today, I can tell you there was basically the whole plane was full of Cardinal fans coming to the game tonight.
I bet, yeah. To explain that a little further about the torso injuries, you know that if you swing and miss, it's going to hurt. So you don't swing so hard.
Though it makes sense.
Yeah, you know, yeah.
Sure.
It's kind of I mean, it's not like you ought to go out and get pummeled in your torso every week so you'd be a good hitter. I mean, that's not the idea.
Sure.
But it's amazing how you don't try to do a lot knowing that if you swing and miss, it's going to hurt.
And Craig hits one high and deep into right center. Jennings on the track. Well, Holiday picks up his 4th home run, RBI number 30. The Cardinals on top midway through 6. Head to Jack in the Box and try the new Jack's Blazin' Chicken Sandwich. It's Jack's hottest sandwich yet. And find a helpful servicing steel dealer near you. Visit steeldealers.com. Mike Matheny of the Cardinals. Thanks to a Matt Holliday home run, they lead it 1-0. And it's Loney, Zobrist, and De Jesus. James Loney is 2 for 2. And a ground ball gobbled up there by Colton Wong. We'll get St. Louis's 2 favorite destinations for one great price. Cardinals and Six Flags double play combo. Double play combo includes a ticket to a Cardinals game and a one-day pass to Six Flags. Get it now, cardinals.com/Six Flags. Ben Zobrist is fly to left and doubled to right center. Wainwright in the National League, first in wins, second in innings, fourth in strikeouts, fifth in ERA. Big breaking ball and a strike. And for whatever reason, he's actually about 2 runs better in his ERA on the road than at Busch Stadium. Here's the 0-2.
Some statistics you can't explain, and that's one of them. I have never quite understood how a pitcher can be better on the road than at home, because at home it's a mound that's designed for him and his teammates. It's the same mound every time, whereas on the road they differ. They don't differ in height. All mounds are 10 inches high. They differ in slope, as you can see right there. There's a different slope in Tampa Bay for their pitchers, different at Yankee Stadium, or Boston, Los Angeles, San Francisco, wherever it might be.
Oh, he catches the outside corner and a strikeout. Ben Zobrist is second. Well, Adam Wainwright is our BJC Healthcare difference maker. 2 outs here in the home half of the 6th. Look at the names on this list. Gibson 3 different times, Brolio, Adam Wainwright. Lowest opponents average through the first 13 games that they've started. This is since 1913. And that's before tonight. Came in, opponents hitting 194. That's before the mound was changed, too, for many of those pitchers, namely Bob Gibson.
Right.
And a strike at the knees to David De Jesus, who is flied to center and lined out to second base. 0 for 2.
Yeah, because this is a quick game, relatively, it's 8:45 in Omaha, so Bob's still with us. About 8:15, he's history.
Is that right?
Book it, yeah.
He's not on the RV right now? He's not traveling?
No, that's later in the year.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, 8:45 here in the East Coast. So 7:45.
7:45. Yeah. Well, gosh, this is like late afternoon for him.
The 1-1 is tapped foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. You know, you host a TV show, and we've had him up here in the booth. I think we need to come up with Bob Gibson Unleashed. Just let him come up here, and we'll just throw a few subjects at him and let him go.
I think he's already done that this year with us. 2 innings.
Here's a ground ball past the diving Alan Craig and a base hit into right field. A 2-out hit, and it brings in Matt Joyce, who is struck out. And a key move for the Cardinals was back in the 4th. An intentional walk to Joyce to bring up Logan Forsythe with the bases loaded in 2 outs, and the move did pay off as Forsythe would line out to end the inning. Rays are in such a tough stretch of baseball. 14-31 over their last 45 games. They've averaged in those games just over 3 runs, and yet they've given up nearly 5. Shallow center, who wants it? Cardinal shortstop Peralta makes the catch. Wainwright is through 6. We jump ahead to the 7th. Molina, Taveras, Peralta due up. Remember, tomorrow we're on the air at 5:30. Our Budweiser What's on Tap. Michael Wacha, Eric Bedard, the lefty. Wacha 4-4. A very good ERA of 2.61. Postseason sensation of a year ago, Michael Wacha. Wainwright, 7 hits over 6 scoreless tonight. That's now 24 straight innings. Cardinals with shutout baseball. Odorizzi pitching into the 7th. It'll be Molina, Taveras, and Johnny Peralta. Last win for Odorizzi was back on May 14th. Against Seattle as Molina hits it out of play. He is struck out and grounded out. Odorizzi trying to pitch past the 6th inning. He's in the 7th. Can it record it out?
Yeah, for a guy who is 2-6 coming into the game, he has certainly pitched much better than that, and that's obvious.
Molina with a fly ball into right. Kiermaier is over and makes the catch.
I think he's shown a remarkable amount of poise going against Wainwright, realizing that his team's not scoring a lot of runs. They haven't scored any runs over the last 25 innings. Tough on any pitcher, but when you're 24 and trying to make it in the big leagues, you can play with your mind, realizing that your performance may not be enough.
Here's Oscar Taveras. He is struck out and flied out to left. 1 point. Odorizzi set down 14 straight. Now, Odorizzi at home is about 4 runs better than he is on the road ERA wise. Much better here at Tropicana. 1-1 hit out of play, and it's 1-2. Taveras was the Midwest League batting champion in 2011, Texas League in 2012. Very small sample size, but so far hitting just 200.
Yeah, there's only 1 league left for Oscar.
Yep.
That's the one he's playing in right now.
Popped up near the Cardinals dugout, and that'll find the seats out of play. Mike Matheny has said that it would be a push for Taveras to play every day in center field. Now, could they spot him there? He thinks that they could. However, to play every day at this level, it would be a push. So the Cardinals, when Adams is activated on Friday, we would assume, going to have a decision to make. You got Grichuk, you've got Taveras.
Yeah, we talked about it in our last broadcast against the Yankees. If you bring up Oscar Taveras, of course he wasn't up then, but where do you put him?
Right.
And do you move Matt Adams off of first base and put Craig there? Well, that's obviously what's happened, but that was because Matt was hurt. But when Matt is well, I would imagine the Cardinals will go back to that Adams at first and Craig in right. But you don't know. But particularly the way, I mean, Oscar homered a second at bat and all that. But, I mean, he's just got a long way to go. He's very, very young as far as the major leagues is concerned. Now, if he was hitting 400, then you'd have a decision to make.
Strikes out. It's 5 tonight for the Rays right-hander. And the other thing that you pointed to, and the Cardinals,
sure,
is that
pretty sound. I mean,
he's going to be fine. However, he's got to play every day. So if he stays here, he can't sit.
Right. This is no indication of his future. I mean, if he were batting 400, it wouldn't be any indication of his future, nor is 200.
Odorizzi steps and throws, and Peralta is 1 for 3. Time to stretch with the Cardinals on top. Summary, Wainwright pitching into the 7th. Matt Holliday, the home run to account for the lone run tonight. Odorizzi, the Highland, Illinois native, through 7 innings. And James Loney has a couple of hits against Adam tonight. Mazda game summary. Logan Forsythe, Jose Molina, and Desmond Jennings. 8-9-1 in the lineup against Adam Wainwright.
Logan Forsythe almost ran into being hit by the pitch. Bunting and that tailing fastball inside. He just got out of the way.
This is popped up. That late movement. Craig after it. That'll drop in. 1 ball, 1 strike. You know, since the start of the 2013 season, adding this up earlier today, Adam Wainwright has 335 innings at the start of play tonight. Since the beginning of last year, only 1 pitcher is within 30 of him, and that's James Shields, who's now with Kansas City. So when you think about a guy giving you a chance to win, going deep into games, providing innings, maybe look no further than number 50 of the Cardinals.
He has some bad days, of course, but more often than not, he is right on the money. The only pitcher since 2012 that has more innings pitched than Adam, and that was the year he came off his Tommy John surgery, was Justin Verlander. Is Justin Verlander.
The 2-1 pitch. Chopped foul. Cardinals with some activity in their pen. It's Sam Freeman and Pat Neshek. Outfield is straight away. And that just missed. Count is full on Logan Forsythe. Wainwright has walked 2. One of those was intentional. And a fly ball lifted into shallow center. Peralta again calling for it, and he makes the play. Well, look as sharp as Cards GM John Mozeliak. This is the second installment of Motai Monday.
Motai, all right.
Monday, June 16th, the Cardinals host the Mets. And if you have that special theme ticket, you will get the limited edition Cardinals bow tie and a chance to hear from the Cards GM. A private Q&A. Motai Monday.
That's nice.
Here's Jose Molina, who's 1 for 2. Off the end of the bat, strike 1. So, Tim, you have a pitch count that's pretty low right now, 85 for Wainwright, but yet activity in the pen.
Well, I would if I were Mike Matheny, and I'm not, but I still would. And the reason is Adam Wainwright does not have his good stuff. I mean, he's escaped with the bases loaded. 2-line drives got him out of it in the 4th inning. Nice try by Molina. Look at Wainwright. Wainwright all the way over to the dugout. He was as close to the ball as any of the 3. How many times do you see that?
Nothing in 2 on Jose Molina.
You know, a play that looms large. I know it may be. Some people might think it's moot, but that double play that was turned in the 1st inning.
Sure.
I mean, that kind of set the scene for what's happened so far.
This is popped up again. Peralta. By the way, that's the gum that Adam Wainwright chews. He gets new pieces of gum before every inning as the AT&T fan photo is revealed. And that is 7 pieces, Tim. He told us he does that to get a little bit more of a sticky feel to his fingers and a better grip on the baseball. So he chews gum in between innings, finishes up the warm-up tosses, and then creates a mess.
Could there perhaps not be a better way to dispose of that gum?
I mean, we're not Turk Wendell-esque here, you know.
I'll ask Adam that tomorrow, perhaps. Yeah, he's like the new Lenny Dykstra, if you remember Dykstra in center field. I think it was Andy Van Slyke who said it was like a dump out in Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia when Dykstra used to throw chew.
Nasty stuff. Here's a 2-0 pitch to the leadoff man, Desmond Jennings. For Turk Wendell.
Turk Wendell, yeah.
Now he was.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Brushing his teeth and licorice and stepping over lines and as superstitious as they came. The 2-1 is hit out of play, and it evens it up at 2-2. We saw him a bunch with the Chicago Cubs, but really, I think it gained prominence his antics in New York.
Oh, yeah. Starting his career with the New York Mets. Yeah. He was different,
to say the least. The 2-2 hit out to center and lined and caught by Peter Borges. Wainwright is through 7. Jay, Borges, Carpenter due up 1-0. Burrito Sports Update with Pat Paris. All right, Pat, thanks. Travis Wood making that start for Chicago. Francisco Liriano for Pittsburgh. And the big debut of Gregory Polanco. Milwaukee at New York tonight. Marco Estrada making that start against Daisuke Matsuzaka. The Cardinals starting play 5 games back of Milwaukee as that drops in for a strike to John Jay. Peter Borges on deck and Matt Carpenter all due up for St. Louis against the young right-hander going deep into the game. And it looks like, Tim, that the night is through for Adam Wainwright.
I think so. I mean, we were watching in between innings, and to me this proves a point that sometimes this stuff about pitch count, and there are different sides. Some people are in the middle and the whole bit. I'm adamantly opposed for this reason. Sometimes 92 pitches is too much for a pitcher. Sometimes that same pitcher can go back out there and 135 pitches wouldn't be enough. He could go deeper into the game, 40 or 50 pitches more. You're dealing with human beings. They have different levels of strength and stress. I mean, throwing a baseball overhand is not an easy job. Everybody knows that. And to think that if his pitch count reaches 100, that's a danger zone. Who's proven that? When does arm injuries?
And a nice play here. The backhand by Forsythe and safe. The throw is up the line just a bit. And John Jay is aboard to start the 8th.
Loney did the best he could to try to sell that to first base umpire Hunter Wintelstedt. But he was off the bag. I think that's an error. Should be. But anyway, that's the point. I mean, guys can throw 130 pitches and still go further. They can throw 90 pitches and they're done. Here's one of the classiest, most durable starting pitchers in baseball at 92. That's it.
It's Chris Conroy, the assistant trainer to Greg Houck for the St. Louis Cardinals. Pictured there with Wainwright. Now Peter Borges after the error by Forsythe, his first this year.
Take another look. Boy, it looked like Loney's left foot was on the bag. Not only did he sell it.
Borges lays down the bunt. Odorizzi has to hurry and out. And it looked like Forsythe got stepped on by Borges going across the bag at first base. He got spiked.
Well, Odorizzi initially went after Borges thinking that he was going to make the tag, and he missed the tag. Borges just flew by him and then had to throw with Borges in the way, and Forsythe reaching into foul territory, and it looked like he stepped on his left foot.
Odorizzi had 103 pitches. And with a runner at second base and one out, this will be it for him. Very nice outing by the right-hander. All-Star Game special coverage begins at 4:30 on Fox Sports 1, followed by the All-Star Game at 7:30, and that will be seen on Fox. Joel Peralta, 5'11", 210 pounds. He's been around now for a number of years. Our Chevy called to the pen. This is a relief appearance number 258. Since he joined the Rays in 2011.
Probably the most durable pitcher in Rays history.
Dan Wheeler would be in there.
Dan Wheeler, yeah.
But I agree with you. Peralta really has been used in high leverage situations.
Yeah, the combination of durability plus longevity.
Runner at second base. John Jay following the error by Forsythe. The sacrifice by Peter Borges, top of the lineup. Matt Carpenter is 0 for 3 tonight with a strikeout. Hitting .340 with runners in scoring position. Carpenter hitting .400 here in the month of June. Leads the club in hits, doubles, walks, and on-base percentage. Another solid year for the Cardinals' third baseman. The 1-1. Hit out of play. And things have gotten so bad for Tampa Bay and their bullpen. Grant Balfour, who was their closer at the beginning of the season, has been removed from that role. Joe Maddon saying he'll go with a closer by committee. Even mentioned Peralta's name as potential closer. But it's not just the offense. It's been a little bit of everything where Tampa Bay just has not clicked this year.
Yeah, Grant Balfour as a closer has had 2 5-run innings in the 9th.
1-2 the count. The next to Matt Carpenter on its way. You mentioned earlier, Tim, where the Yankees are the only team to win more games than the Rays since 2008. Well, they also, in that time period, have shelled out $905 million more in payroll than Tampa Bay. The point being, you know, the Rays have just been innovative. You got a guy that's always positive in Joe Maddon.
It's remarkable what they've done. With what they have and with what they've done is I'm not too sure it's appreciated in baseball, but I'm not sure it's appreciated as much as it should be in the sports world.
I agree. And doing it in the American League East.
Yeah, right.
Little floater out to shallow left, and that'll be caught. Well, if you need a gift for Dad, MLB.com @bat app and a subscription to its premium features on his favorite smartphone or tablet are perfect for Father's Day. Live look-ins, the MLB.tv Game of the Day, and much, much more. Visit MLB.com. Wong hitless tonight in 3 at-bats. Cardinals have had just enough offense tonight. They've been out hit 7-3, but the one big hit in this game, a Holiday home run. That was back in the 6th.
You can see how Peralta comes set. He's got his 2 fingers, the index finger and the middle finger, split for that split finger fastball. That's what that first pitch was. Another one.
0-2.
See the bottom fall out of that from Wong, or to Wong.
$17,226 paid attendance tonight. 17226. Still alive.
That's the thing about that splitter. The pitch itself sets the hitter up. You don't need to go fastball, curveball. You can go split, 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 because it reacts different every time you throw it.
Sure.
Sometimes it's harder if it's thrown by the end of the fingers. Sometimes if you choke it a little more. So it serves as an out pitch and a setup pitch at the same time.
Big gap in right center. The 0-2 pitch. Wong lines it into left center. Positioned perfectly. Jennings. And Peralta gets Carpenter and Wong. Midway through 8, St. Louis on top. For the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Rich with a guy that they invite to spring training, not sure what to expect back. What a season it has been already for Pat Neshek.
He is. It's turned into a vital cog in that bullpen machine for Mike Matheny.
And he will get 2, 3, and 4. Now, Pat Neshek, I've talked to him at great length about this, Tim. He's throwing way more fastballs. He's also incorporated a changeup instead of just always going with the slider, which was his bread and butter pitch the last couple of years. But he said by always throwing the slider, he lost the velocity and the trust in his fastball. And he was hitting 93, 94 the other day.
See, and when you throw from where Pat Neshek is throwing, and you throw that slider, the danger of it becoming a cement mixer or just a spinner over the middle of the plate is just too great.
Hit sharply and fair. Caught Craig, then caught Silent George, and into the seats.
Boy, you talk about a rocket,
man,
by Kiermaier. Alan Craig was on the line trying to prevent the double, and Kiermaier just hit it through him. This is a fastball. Hugging the ground. It's going to be a double, I would think. I mean, that ball was just a tracer hit over there, and Craig had no chance to get ready for it. I think it hit his glove and his foot.
I'm not sure it even caught the glove.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe just the left foot.
Yeah. Either way, the Rays have a man at second. Here's Longoria. And he's hit by the pitch.
And that was the slider. First pitch to Longoria, the slider. Backs up inside and hits Longoria on the left forearm. Mike Matheny has got to go to Sam Freeman.
So one of the rare times that Neshek struggles. Sam Freeman with a 1-run lead and 2 on when we come back. The authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals needed just 2 innings of relief the weekend series in Toronto. And now their second reliever of the night is Sam Freeman. Inning started with a double. Kiermaier and then Longoria hit by a pitch. So James Loney is in to face Freeman. Then Zobrist, switch hitter. And Rosenthal is up and throwing in the Cardinals' pen. After that, De Jesus, a lefty, and Matt Joyce. So this could be a lot of Sam Freeman here in the bottom of the 8th. 26 consecutive scoreless innings for Tampa Bay.
And I don't think you can look for a bunt here off Loney, because Mike Matheny would simply, if the bunt is successful, you walk Ben Zobrist, the switch hitter, to get to the 2 left-handers. So I don't think you're going to see a bunt here. Take your chances with nobody out and Loney batting.
And the first pitch is fouled back. 93 from Sam Freeman. The best opportunity that the Rays have had was in the 4th inning. It was a line out by Longoria, but then a single, a double. They had runners at second and third, and just 1 out. De Jesus would line out, the intentional walk to Joyce, and then the line out with the bases loaded by Forsythe. That was against Wainwright.
Yeah, the Rays hit the ball hard that inning.
One ball, 1 strike. 8th appearance for Sam Freeman. 7 1/3. He's given up just 1 hit. Starting to gain the trust of Mike Matheny too. Used these higher leverage situations, and it's fouled back.
Oh, that fastball just ate Loney up inside. Tailing fastball in on the hands.
It looked like Timmy missed his spot. Molina was setting up.
It's okay to miss it in there. To me, for a left-hander to be successful, he's got to be able to run the ball in on the hands of a left-handed hitter. Not stay there, but do it enough to put some fear in him.
Got him. A strikeout for Sam Freeman.
One begets the other. You saw that 1-2 swing, totally different. It's almost like Loney said, whoa, where'd that pitch come from? And then swung accordingly. There's the swing on the fastball inside. And then with the count 1 ball and 2 strikes, a little timid. Oh.
Ben Zobrist, the switch hitter from this side of the plate, hitting .277. One for 3 with a double tonight. Cardinals have turned 2 double plays tonight.
Kiermaier can run. He had 27 stolen bases 4 years ago in the minor leagues. And the Rays love to take advantage of pitchers if they don't pay heed to the guy at second to go ahead and try to steal third with 1 out. Of course, that opens things up too. If Wong is too close to second base, that opens up the whole right side. Can't be everywhere.
This season with runners in scoring position.
Wow.
109 for Zobrist. Matter of fact, he's 0 for his last 24 with runners in scoring position. Tonight marks the 10th time that Adam Wainwright has gone at least 7 innings and 2 or fewer runs allowed. 10 times he has done that.
That's in 14 starts.
2 balls and no strikes on Ben Zobrist.
Molina making sure you don't want to be caught in between in a situation like this. You know, a lot is made of how young pitchers don't shake off Yadier Molina. That's simply not true. That's a bunch of bunk. Older catchers try to tell pitchers, young pitchers, that go ahead and shake me off. You're the guy throwing the ball. I encourage you to shake me off. Don't think it's offensive or anything like that. And it's out there that, well, he didn't shake him off tonight, so he must have been calling a great game. That has nothing to do with it. Just to debunk that myth that a catcher is doing a good job if the pitcher didn't shake him off. It's nonsense. You encourage him to shake you off.
3-0 the count here. Playing devil's advocate then, Tim,
sure,
what would you say then? We're watching a lot of games and these young pitchers do not shake Molina off.
That's that. Well, I'm not talking only about Yachty. I'm talking about all young pitchers and all established catchers. The norm is for most of them to come up to the big leagues and they don't shake older catchers off. They realize he's been in the league longer and the whole bit. But even young pitchers that have been in the league for a long time won't shake him off.
3-1 driven out to left, but right at Jay fires into second, and there's 2 down. And Zobrist now 0 for his last 25 with runners in scoring position.
Well, you talk about weighing on you, my gosh.
Sam Freeman has come in. He struck out Loney. Gets the line out off the bat of Zobrist.
Before we take a break, I mean, think of the logic of it, though. When a young pitcher comes up, you know what you want to throw. You know, go ahead and shake me off. If you want to shake me off, that's fine.
Sure.
Don't worry about, you're not showing me up or anything like that, but you're the one who has to throw the pitch.
Trevor Rosenthal, the Cards closer. Can he make it a 4-out save? We'll find out. And hoping that Trevor Rosenthal can get at least 1 more out here in this inning and then look for a 4-out save. He's 16 for 19 in save opportunities. And with the Cardinals' lack of work from their bullpen and the off day yesterday, Guys are rested, so Mike Matheny can stretch out Rosenthal in this spot. Plus, you have an off day on Thursday, too. Just thinking ahead.
And what a terrific job by Sam Freeman coming in and getting the dangerous James Loney and then Ben Zobrist on a line drive.
Now it's Jerry Sands who's the pinch hitter. The fastball in for a strike. Sam Freeman is now pitched 8 innings and allowed 1 hit.
That's as hard as I've seen Sam throw. And seeing him, of course, it's a small sample size. And I mean, he looked rested, ready, and was smoking.
The 0-1 pitch. And that's why the Cardinals, do think highly of Sam Freeman. He can get it to the mid to high 90s, 96, 97. Really, he's been trying to work on that secondary pitch, and walks have been a concern, but that is improving. 1-1 pitch, up and in. And Sands is saying he was hit by the pitch, and now Molina arguing with the home plate umpire, Mike Estabrook, and so is Mike Matheny.
Yadi Molina arguing the play. Well, you know what? Nobody can act that quickly. That, to me, if I were a home plate umpire in a situation like that, he's going to get some help, and they're going to review it. But to me, nobody, a guy like Jerry Sands, if he's the hitter, nobody can act that quickly.
Sure.
If the ball hit him, he's not going to turn. This guy's up there to hit. With runners on at first and second, a tying run in the 8th inning, he's up there to hit. So if the ball hit him, he's going to turn to the umpire. You can't act that quickly.
We had that unique view from before as well that's above the plate. Now, I wonder if that would help in this situation potentially. We showed you that view of the camera angle above home plate, and I just wonder if that view would be able to.
Well, think about it, though, from a home plate umpire. It might have shaved him or just hit the skin or something. But a hitter, a major league hitter, is not going to turn to an umpire and say the ball hit him unless it hit him. That, to me, no tape can show.
Jerry Lane is the crew chief.
Now watch. He's up there to hit. Key situation. If that ball hit him, he's not going to turn to the home plate umpire immediately. You can't act that quickly. That's not the thing. If the ball didn't hit you, you don't act. You don't turn toward the home plate umpire. That, to me, is more important than any tape or any review, because the tape might not show that he was hit.
Yeah. So the call will stand, and the bases will be loaded. Rosenthal has come in and apparently hit Jerry Sands, second Ray that's been hit in this inning. Bases loaded, and here is Matt Joyce. Fastball and a strike. Just joining us, the Cardinals run was scored on a Matt Holliday home run. His 4th of the season, back in the 6th. Strike 2. Joyce has struck out was intentionally walked and popped out to short. Second time tonight with the bases loaded for Tampa Bay. The 0-2. Fly ball. Popped up. Peralta is there. Rosenthal out of a bases loaded jam. It's Holiday, Craig, and Molina, along with Tim McCarver, Dan McLaughlin with you. Jim Hayes as well. 1-0 is our score. And the difference in this ball game, the Nissan drive of the game off the bat of Matt Holliday's fourth home run with RBI number 30. And that's it, as Tampa Bay now 27 consecutive innings without scoring.
Matt Holliday 1, Tampa Bay nothing.
Wow. And that's hard to do, 27 consecutive innings, and then to do it where you haven't scored at home. And the Cardinals trying to make it 3 consecutive shutouts as Jake McGee is our Chevy call to the pen.
Jake McGee has been the Rays' most valuable player so far. If the All-Star game were tomorrow, he'd be the member representing Tampa Bay. He has had a terrific year.
.95 from the lefty. Mentioned earlier they're wearing that Zim patch. They honored Don Zimmer on Saturday. And of course Don Zimmer, 66 years in baseball and all different capacities, player, manager, coach, team executive. Pretty ironic too that they honored him the day of the Belmont Stakes too. He loved horse racing.
Zim told me once that, and he was a dear friend. He said, when I pass, I want an open coffin with a dog form in my right hand and a horse racing form in my left.
That's great.
Yeah, he was a sweetheart to a lot of people.
And Holiday looks at strike 2. The players over the weekend all wore number 23, which was the number he wore when he broke in with the Brooklyn Dodgers. Tommy Lasorda here, and Joe Torre and Jim Leland. Had nearly 30 family members in attendance. As Holiday bounces it to the right side. That pitch hit 98 from the lefty. There's not a lot of lefties throwing 98.
I didn't think he could throw that hard.
Wow.
You got to check the gun.
All right, you don't believe these guns, Tim?
I don't believe all of them.
They're right on. Don't be so trusting of these guns.
Don't be such a doubting Thomas.
Yeah.
Why not?
So when Chapman comes in, he's throwing 105. You don't believe that?
When Chapman comes in and throws 105, I believe
you
that.
do believe that one?
Yes, I do.
He throws smoke. Here's Alan Craig.
I was reading in Baseball America the other day where 25 of the first, I think, like 28 pitchers that were drafted, the lowest they threw was 95 miles an hour and topped out at 102. That big guy, and I can't think of his name, from Texas.
Texas, the number 2 pick.
Number 2 pick, yeah.
18-year-old.
Yeah. That's in high school.
Yeah.
All of them were high school age, 95 to 102.
I talked to Matt Holliday a couple weeks ago, and I said, what's the biggest changes that you see in the game? He said, it used to be you'd come in and a middle reliever is throwing 88 to 92. He said now it seems like every guy that comes out of the pen is 95 or higher.
Yeah.
With the exception of the specialty lefty that comes into a game, and clearly this isn't a good example, but Randy Choate would be a good example.
Right.
He's topping out at 85, but he said just the difference in the bullpens and the makeup of those bullpens. He also said it seems like every pitcher is really trying to either get the cutter down or trying to split finger. He said one or the other, which is something he didn't really deal with all that much when he first came up. And that's popped up down the first baseline, and Loney makes the play.
And those are two pitches where the disparity is great. It's either a very hard fastball or a pitch where the bottom falls out.
Sure.
And to have to cope with those two types of unusual pitches makes it very, very difficult in the late innings.
And here is Yadier Molina.
I say late innings because you're going to have to deal with guys out of the bullpen.
Cardinals, great example of that. The hard throwers that they've been able to draft.
Exactly.
Molina looks at a ball. Yadi tonight is grounded out, struck out, and flied out. Now you would think his brother knows every weakness possible in how to pitch to Yadier Molina, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a lot of conviction in that yet.
No, there wasn't, because catcher's got to call it from the pitchers. He can't throw the ball. Yadi's the same way, and Jose's already had a hit tonight.
They're both smiling a little bit.
They are. Wistful smiles.
Sets up low and outside. All the Molinas known for their glove. All of them.
Right.
But I think Yadi now is known for both. Offensive prowess and what he brings defensively clearly is there. He's been a little tardy with some of these swings, not only tonight, but this has been about a 2-week little period at which just a little tardy with the swing. Three and 2 the count with 2 outs and nobody on. Rays will have 8, 9, and 1 due up. And it's a 2-out walk, as Molina will trot down to first. Oscar Taveras is pulled back, and Randall Grichuk will face the lefty. Grichuk with his first career home run over the weekend.
Hit it Saturday in Toronto. You know, this makes a lot of sense to pinch hit for Oscar Taveras instead of allowing him to hit and then taking him out for defense. Because, as you said earlier, he's a 21-year-old guy and he's never been removed from games in the minor leagues. So you pinch hit for him, you bring the right-hander up to play the percentages. It's a little easier on Oscar being taken out of the game.
And you also get a much better defender in Grichuk.
Right, that's right. You'd think about doing it even if Oscar made the last out,
sure.
For instance. So why not do it now?
Grichuk, a Gold Glove winner in the minor leagues. And a strike. Taveras, by the way, tonight was 0 for 3.
There's a few offers on both sides out there tonight.
Yes, sir. Cardinals just 3 hits tonight. One of those, the Holiday home run. Grichuk's an intriguing player.
Yes,
little
he
speed,
is.
but very good power. Very good defensively.
Very compact player.
One of the keys for him will be cutting down on strikeouts if he can. He struck out 13 times in 39 at-bats. Molina sets up inside, and it's a strikeout of Randall Grichuk. That'll send us to the bottom of the ninth. The Cardinals trying to make it 3 consecutive shutouts on the road. 1-0 St. Louis. They lead this ball game 1-0 as Trevor Rosenthal is trying to make it a 4-out save. Team shutouts this year. The Cardinals with 12. Texas 11, then the Atlanta Braves, the Marlins, Blue Jays. What a win this would be for St. Louis, and Mike Matheny with 3 hits if they can walk away with another shutout.
You know, about 2.5 hours ago, Dan, when we did our opening, you could almost feel that this would be the type of game we saw tonight. You don't know, you know, one big pop from Holiday, everything else. Wainwright pitching in and out of trouble. Sam Freeman, 2 big outs in that 7th inning. Huge.
Logan Forsythe in the first pitch, deep in the hole. Peralta the throw, out. Just got him.
Forsythe could smell a base hit right there. His olfactory sense was in high gear. Peralta throws him out. Ooh, that was close.
Joe Madden now having a word with our first base umpire. And I go back to the double play we had in the first inning.
Yeah, I do too.
I see
same,
one replay.
Same view.
Yeah, exactly.
That's enough. I mean, to me, he's out. The ball of the foot was coming down, I thought, when the ball was in the mitt.
And it's Hunter Wendelstedt.
I think this is more conclusive than it was earlier.
Yeah.
Seems to me. But if you're Joe Madden, why not? What do you have to lose?
Exactly. So they'll review this. This will be the third play that's been reviewed tonight. Joe Madden is in his 9th season as the manager of the Rays. And he challenged his club over the weekend to get to 500 by the 100 games played mark. And since that time, they've lost 3 straight. Could be 4 here tonight. And they're on a pace for 102 losses this season. It's another one of those plays, too, Tim, is that how do you define when a ball is catched? Or caught, excuse me. When do you catch the baseball? And the back of the glove, ideally, if it's supposed to hit the leather, that's when you're out. So there is that little frame or 2 or 3 that in television, it's tough to tell when it gets too close to being in the glove than once it's in it. In that view, I think he's out.
If you throw the ball hard enough, it's going to be in the back of the glove quick enough to get your man. That's the way I would look at it.
You had a play in the World Series that David Ortiz in St. Louis was at first base, no DH, and Pete Kozma bunted.
Oh, yeah.
And they, Major League Baseball used that as an example. There's a strike to Yunel Escobar. So you have to figure out exactly when the ball is in the back of the glove. Very tough to do. 1 ball, 1 strike. Escobar plays with a lot of flash and has been welcomed by Joe Madden. There's a good breaking ball. And he did not go. 2-1. Primarily, we've seen fastballs so far from Rosenthal. Out of play.
It's tough to guard the line in a situation like this because Trevor Rosenthal throws so hard. I don't know about a 2-2 changeup to a pinch hitter in the 9th inning of a 1-run game. I don't think that was a good call.
The 2-2 fought off and out of play.
Reason for that is you speed up the bat head by throwing that changeup. If a guy's hitting foul balls off the other way, why speed up the bat head? Here it is, hit it.
Tying run is aboard. Winning run comes to the plate. You're wondering, Escobar, no steals this year. Top of the lineup, Desmond Jennings. And St. Louis with 2 double plays turned tonight. Jennings single to center. Fly to center. Hit into a 6-4-3 double play and also lined out. Outfield is deep, the 1-0 pitch. Fastball and a strike. That pitch at 96. We have not seen the velocity that Rosenthal was at last year, which was consistently 98, 99, 100. But still, you're talking about 96, 97. He is bringing it. Tied him up, and he went. A strikeout for Rosenthal. The Rays down to their final out. We turn to tonight's Budweiser player of the game. It's Adam Wainwright. A chance for the Cardinals to give him win number 9. He would go to 9-3. They're 1 out away. And the Cardinals would pick up win number 34. Still 1 out away.
I tell you, that was an odd last pitch. I think it was a backup breaking ball, 86 miles an hour, but it was strange, and it looked strange to Desmond Jennings.
There's the changeup.
That's a good changeup right there on the first pitch. A fastball speeds up the bat, a changeup slows it down. Think of it that way.
Kiermaier with a double back in the 8th. Left stranded. Rays have had their opportunities tonight. They have stranded 10. Twice they have had the bases loaded, could not score. And now 1-2. One-two pitch, and he struck him out. 3 consecutive games. The Cardinals pitching has shut out the opposition. 2 in Toronto. And this one here in Tampa Bay. What a win for St. Louis. 1-0 the final. With a Matt Holliday home run hit in tonight's game. Total of $602 was raised for prostate cancer. To make a donation, you can go online to homerunchallenge.org.
I'll tell you what we're seeing, Dan. We're seeing a change, no pun intended, in Trevor Rosenthal. That change